because I don't think that people understand how much someone just needs to hear you're doing a great job, keep going, or you're not doing that great, let's go.
Exactly.
Right? Because I've had to have those conversations with people too, and there are people that have had to have those conversations with me. Why are you playing with your potential? Like, why are you, why are you, like, these people actually do not have your best interests at heart. They are not aligned with where you're trying to go. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? And so it was people being that for me that allows me to be that for other people. And I'm always going to be one that pays it forward. I'm always going to be one that pours into women, because we were bred in a world that doesn't see the value in us when we really need to see the value in who we are, right? We look to be validated by other people and these European brands that really don't care anything about us. You understand what I'm saying? And really don't, when we really are the ones that make them tick, right? They can't move on to the next trend without seeing what we got going on. Exactly. And so I think once we understand our power and truly understand it, like you said, not just say it, but really like feel it and hear, I think it'll be a game changer. And that's why I think what you're doing is so important, putting our people on a pedestal, putting our people in a light, right? Having a real production for our people and showing us like we don't deserve janky business, right? We don't deserve, anything that's less than top tier. And so I think that it's really important.
First episode that I had where I'm actually really nervous. This is the first time. All the other episodes, I was fine. I don't know, just to be sitting amongst y'all, like, you know what I mean? You know, D, you my friend. I seen when you started Sophisticatedcrowns and what made you start and stuff like that. But the people don't know. For my sister, I don't remember exactly when you started your bags, but the fact that I watched you make a bag from scratch really at points had me feeling so low, like, you know what I mean? Like that it was just motivation. Like I need to really be doing better with, with my craft and stuff like that. And Ash, I've always been a fan of you. Like,
thank you so much. That's really sweet.
I love your style and stuff like that. But I just wanted to know, like, y'all motivation and what really made y'all start, like, in the fashion world. I'll go first. Like, I know for me, with videography was like my B plan. I played basketball for half my life, and as a kid, one day my uncle, he came to me and was like, "Yo, what's your B plan if basketball don't work out? Like, if basketball don't work out, it's only because of you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was really good, and I was like, I want to make music videos. That was my thing. I used to watch music videos. Me and my brothers, we would record the music videos on all of my mother movie tapes, and she would be so pissed off by the time she got home and go to put on the movie. The only movie I wouldn't record on was Scarface. Scarface, remember, it had 2 tapes back then.
Because it was so long.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we would record over the movies just to watch them, and my brother would just like nitpick on the video, like he should have wore that, or he should have did this, and you know what I mean? We would go back and forth with it, and once I went to college and stuff like that, that's when I was like, all right, I stopped playing basketball prior to college, and I'm like, yo, when I go to college, I want to major in film. Like, that was my motivation. Just, I just wanted to make my own video, like, and then past that, I'm like, I want to really be a director. You know what I mean? I was never a fan of being on the camera. I was always so shy. You get what I'm saying? So I always wanted something where I was behind the scenes.
As many times I've seen you, I never seen you talk.
Yeah. That's not my thing, I swear. Like, D, even like when we outside, D would just be like, well, two is just your wave.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
So that's my thing. Now I'm starting to like get out of it. It wasn't until like I went to school for my master's where they forced me to, speak in front of a bunch of people. And it was like, all right, now it's time to start opening my mouth. My mother
because you can't change the world with a closed mouth.
Exactly. So I'm like, nah, I definitely gotta, it's more than just your presence. I feel like you gotta start speaking up. So
that's right.
That's just my story.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. My motivation. What is my motivation? I'm gonna start by just saying overall, of course, it seems very cliche at times, but it's really my son and also my struggle, like things that I've been through and like the life that I've had. Now, don't get me wrong, my mother has done a phenomenal job providing my sister and I with everything that we could want and ever imagine, but I've always wanted more for myself, right? So for me, it's definitely coming from where I come from. And then I have a kid, I'm a mother, you know, and I want to provide him with a life that, you know, he can just go on and do things unimaginable, you know, right now where we are. I don't know. It sounds very cliche, but definitely my son. And for me to get started, like with my hat brand, I've always loved hats. I loved hats from a kid, and my grandfather actually owned a hat store, and I learned that after I started the brand. My mom told me, like, you know, your grandfather had a hat store, right? And I never knew that. I just knew he always wore hats. My mom wore hats. My grandmother would wear hats. And it was just really hard finding hats that I loved. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start with a hat brand of my own. And we'll kind of jump into how that kind of happened afterwards, but let's go to the next person.
I think I would have to say that my motivation is probably my grandmother. My grandmother raised me, so she's like my mom, and she lived to be 100 years old. So if you could imagine the scope of her life and the things that she's seen in her lifetime, you know, a little bit about her, she wasn't able to go to school past the 3rd grade because of just where she was from. You know, her parents, you know, were slaves on a plantation, and so she has seen so much life, right, happen in her 100 years. And so I always say that it is a privilege to being raised by somebody like that, because she's literally seen the conception of everything that we take for granted on a daily basis. Right. And so she's never worked for anybody. She's always had her own, like, she always created her own lane. Because she never could get a job because she didn't have much education. Right. But what she did know was money. What she did know was how to talk a good one to get, you know, certain people to give her land and, you know, make the money to then buy land. And so, I mean, she's owned restaurants in Harlem and game rooms. She had a game room on between 139th and 138th and Lenox Avenue. Okay. I don't, you know, y'all may not remember that. So I'm just a little bit older. Yeah. But, you know, she had like game rooms, and she used to like carry me and have me in the game room behind the counter. And like, and so seeing her really go hard for every single thing that she wanted out of this life, I mean, there's no greater motivation to that than me, because to see this lady still at, you know, 90 years old, getting up every day and wanting to go cook in a restaurant, it's just like, Grandma, like, you need rest. Like, that part of your life should be over. And she was like, you know, my work is never done. And so every time I think about that, it makes my heart smile. And so I want to be that for my children. I would love that my children can see a Black woman getting up every day, getting to it and not stopping. And I think, you know, sometimes when you're a child, you don't necessarily understand, like, Grandma, why are we waking up at 5 in the morning? Right. But, you know, as a child, you don't necessarily understand. But as you progress and become an adult and you start moving into your life, you're like, wow, you have such a different admiration. And so I want my children, I want that to manifest in them. I want it to manifest, you know, in their wives when they're older, and, you know, what they see when they pick a partner. Like, I want somebody that's hardworking. I want somebody that's a go-getter. And so I think that that's what motivates me the most.
So I'm mainly motivated by my future. I feel like it's so much out there that I haven't been exposed to that I want to be able to expose me and my family to. Yeah. So that's what just keeps me motivated. Like, I have a future in mind for myself, and I'm not stopping until I get there. Then once I get there, I'm probably going to have another future that I'm going to work to get there. Like, it's so much in this world out there, and it's just like, I'm not stopping, and this is like the path I'm using to get there.
That's what's up.
Absolutely. It's so funny that you say that, and you use the whole not stopping thing. You know how many times we come to like roadblocks and we just feel like, that's it. You know what I mean? I've seen, and it's so funny because this week, well, last week or in the beginning of the week, I went on a job interview, and it's a fact that every job interview I ever been on, I never got the job. I only got the job if I knew somebody. I only had 2 jobs in my life. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes, most times, it's always discouraging. I just feel like, what the hell? What am I doing wrong? You get what I'm saying? And to piggyback off of what you were saying, Ash, like, I watched my mom for so many years get up and go to work. So my mentality from a kid growing up was like, I'm always going to work. Yeah. And it wasn't until at this point now that I'm like, oh, I'm not working my whole life. If it's not for me, I'm not doing it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I go to work every day, and it's like I'm always enraged. Yeah. for what? For someone else. Like, you get what I'm saying? So
If you're going to be that, you should be that for yourself.
Exactly.
Can I tell you a really funny story? So, you know, a lot of us who come from where we come from, like the big thing is like, get a city job, get some benefits, right? Like that's what everybody says, get some benefits, get some benefits. And so, you know, obviously your parents aren't your only influence. You see other people and you hear other things, right? And so I had, you know, my first child pretty young. I was 18 years old. And so my whole thing was like, I got work so I could take care of this baby. I got work so I could take care of this baby. And so, you know, I was able to get a hookup to get a job at Mount Sinai Hospital. And I'll never forget it. I was like elated. I was over the moon. I'm like, I got a job. Like I'm in a union. Like this is going to be great. So I called my grandmother and I'm like, Grandma, she's in Atlanta. She was in Atlanta at the time. And I was like, Grandma, you know, I just wanted to call and let you know, like, I'm really excited. I got a job. And she was like, she paused and she didn't say anything at first. And I was like, Grandma, like, I got a job working at the hospital. And she was like, oh, okay, so you're happy that somebody else is about to sign you a check? And like crushed my whole, and I was like, wait, what? Like what? And she was like, Ashley, what did you see me do my whole life? Like, was that for nothing? Like, I mean, that's great, like cool, but like, what's your end goal? Like, that's not like, cool, like if you're happy then yay, like, you know, okay, but like, do you know that like if you're gonna bust your ass for anybody, it should be for yourself. And so I kind of was like, I swallowed that and I was like, okay, okay, Grandma. And then, but from that moment on, I was like, this is going to be what I need to get me out of this rat race. Like I'm no longer going, like I'm gonna figure out a way to no longer make this my reality. Punching the clock, like and I knew that I was not the type of person for a job, because the minute it's nice outside, I'm like, I'm not going to work. I'm gonna go outside. So I'm like, I knew that wasn't necessary. Right, we outside, right? Like I just knew that I wasn't that kind of a person anyway, right? Like I'd be the only person in the entire, and I had my own office at the hospital, but I'd be blasting Drake from out my office, and all of the patients that were like on the floor by me are like, oh yeah, like Miss Ashley's in today, like, but that was just my, like, I just knew I wasn't fit for that box. Like I knew that there were so many other things outside of there that was my calling to do. And so to just piggyback on what you were saying, that is absolutely correct, because when you wake up every day and you go to a job and you're like, unless that's your purpose, right? Like what Dee does, that her heart is there, right? And so she actually gets joy into going to this place when life outside of that is stressful. She gets joy going there and seeing the kids. But when it's like you and me and we're like, oh, here we go again. You don't know what's going on. You know that there's something else out there for you.
For sure.
Yeah. Even with that though, you know, like teaching kids, I definitely enjoy it, but I don't feel like that is the end all be all
for you,
for me either. You know, and I think about taking that leap of faith, and Ashley, a lot of people don't really know, but is a very big motivator for me, and I'm definitely just gonna give you your flowers. Because at a time where I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, like Ashley came off of tour with Cardi B. It was like she was at a show or tour, something with Cardi B, and came and sat with me on the couch to help me figure out how I was gonna get this hat brand started. And at my lowest time, I could also say, at a time where I felt like everyone was laughing at me, things were happening, Ashley kind of found me in a way, and we went out and we had breakfast that morning. And when we talk about like women empowerment, because there's a whole bunch of women here today. Like I think this is the first episode where there's all women. Like let's seriously let's give it up for that. You know, and women doing things, and I love that. And when we talk about women empowerment and building each other up, like Ashley has been that for me, and I'm gonna, you know, probably have a little bit more time to go in depth when it comes to that. But what I just said all that to say that Ashley took a leap of faith, and we had this conversation on that couch also one day, because I was kind of discouraged and like what I was going through at work, and I was like, I don't know if this is it for me, you know? And a lot of people get nervous about taking that leap of faith, and this is literally, she dropped it all, right, at her job. I think we all kind of worked there. Well, not you, Sue. Harlem Children.
That's where it started.
It's where it all started. But yeah,
HGZ boy.
Yo, that's where it started.
Wow.
We were there, and just
Yeah.
taking that leap of faith always just had me like, I can do it. And I've watched Ashlee's growth. So when I see Ashlee today, and I'm just like motivated, I'm so happy for her, like genuinely, because
Yeah,
if
for sure.
anyone in this world deserves the things that are coming to her that
That's
she's
very
working
sweet.
for,
Thank you so much.
it
That's
is
very sweet.
definitely her,
Yeah.
Thank
you.
And we have to be that for each other. Like when we speak of women empowerment, like really stand on that shit.
Stand on that.
For sure.
You because a lot of
Sure.
people talk it because it's cool.
Yep.
It sounds good, right?
Yep.
But stand on it.
Yep.
For sure.
And
I think that people underestimate just how far words of encouragement can go to somebody.
That's a fact.
Because I don't think that people understand how much someone just needs to hear you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Keep going. Or you're not doing that great. Let's go.
Exactly.
Right? Because I've had to have those conversations with people too. And there are people that have had to have those conversations with me. Why are you playing with your potential? Like, why are
Yo,
like, why are
right.
you, like, these people actually do not have your best interests at heart. They are not aligned with where you're trying to go. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? And so it was people being that for me that allows me to be that for other people. And I'm always going to be one that pays it forward. I'm always going to be one that pours into women because we were bred in a world that doesn't see the value in us when we really need to see the value in who we are, right? We look to be validated by other people and these European brands that really don't care anything about us. You understand what I'm saying? And really don't, when we really are the ones that make them tick, right? They can't move on to the next trend without seeing what we got going on.
Yep.
exactly.
And so I think once we understand our power and truly understand it, like you said, not just say it, but really like feel it and hear, I think it'll be a game changer. And that's why I think what you're doing is so important, putting our people on a pedestal, putting our people in a light, right? Having a real production for our people and showing us like, we don't deserve janky business, right? We don't deserve, anything that's less than top tier.
Right.
And so I think that it's really important.
Absolutely.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's like super. It's so funny that you even say the whole production because like, it's one thing to go out, you scout for people and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
when I met these guys, we said we was gonna link up for tea in the morning, right?
right.
So off rip, that was something that just was like gave me like butterflies, right? 'Cause I drink tea and stuff like that, so it's just funny, right? So now I'm about to
It
meet
made
up,
you feel very upper echelon.
Yeah, you feel me?
We're gonna go
So
meet and
now-
have some tea.
Yeah.
So it's
now-
very important. With
we
your pinky
linked,
up,
and
right.
then it was so cool because they end up knowing each other from different things. You know
Walks
what I
of
mean? So
life,
that
yeah.
I just felt like that was just God.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So just to see that and the way they just came together, shit, it shocked me. I'm not gonna lie. The first day when they came, I said, "Oh no, this is really a big deal." Like that,
Yeah.
I had that in my mind.
Yeah.
Though. You're like, when you shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
So that's always my goal. I'm gonna shoot for the stars. I land on a cloud. That's fine.
Yeah.
But when I walked in here and I seen it, I said, "Oh no, this is real shit right here."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta
Real
send a picture
deal.
to my mom. Like I really tried to hold it down, and I didn't want to tell her until like you know what I mean. That's how I am with her. Like I just want to show her at the end.
Yeah.
Because my mom will watch something and be like, "All right, so what you did?" And I'm, "Mom, I got the people together. Like we got everybody on TV and shit like that. You get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to get everything together, and I'm not gonna lie, they tackled everything that my whole plan I wrote out. And it's funny that you had said that before, how like sometimes you gotta have talks with people like just so they could know their worth.
Yep.
And
Talk about it.
And no lie, I promise you, I had this idea in 2019 for 2020, right? And
And then the pandemic happened.
that happened, but that wasn't even the reason, so I'm not even going to use that as
Blame
an
the
excuse.
pandemic, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then one day, my homeboy was talking to me. He's like a mentor. He was talking to me, and he's like, "I don't get it, bro. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, you just sitting there on ideas. You got a brother that's really," and I always tell the story. He like, you have a brother that's really like, all you got to do is come to him with a plan. You know he gonna bet his last dollar on you.
Yeah.
No lie, like 3 days later, my girlfriend, she called me. I'm about to go upstairs to D house. I'm sitting waiting for D or whatever. And she like, "So like, what's your plan?" Because I know what you could do. I see it because I live with you. So I know what you could do.
Right.
But when you going to start telling them what you could do?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because the job is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
The job not going to cut it. My mom tell me all the time, "When you going to quit?
Yeah.
Just quit. Like
Right.
it don't matter, just quit."
Right.
And no lie, like everything that they were saying, it just hit me so crazy. I went upstairs to DH's house, I started crying.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because I'm like, D, what I'm going to do?
It was nothing but God.
Nothing but God.
Yep.
Everybody's solution was write it down.
Yeah.
Just write it down. I'm not a fan of that. I'm like, bro, I'm not writing it down. Bro, get a vision board, write it down. I'm like, all right, cool. When I wrote it down, I called my brother the next day. I got something for you. I'm going to call you by the time I get off of work. He like, okay, dummy, I'm waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Once I called him, I met with these guys the next week.
See?
It was lit.
See?
That was it.
That was
all
it.
it takes is to do it. That's what all it takes is just to do it.
That's
all it takes is just to do it. Like even you, I'm sure when you started your bags, it started from a conception and an idea, right?
Yeah, definitely.
How long you felt like you sat on that before you actually put them into production?
Well, I went to school for accessory design.
Amazing.
So, and I never wanted to work for nobody else. Like the longest job I had was probably 3 months. But that could also be because I just graduated college.
Right,
But,
right.
So I always knew I wanted to start my own thing. But I did my business plan for my senior thesis, and then after I graduated, I started working on my business.
As
like
you
it
should
was
have.
no.
So she's better than us.
Yeah, for sure. She got right to it.
Yeah, we're the procrastinators,
right.
but she's like, actually, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get to it.
Yeah. She'll call like the job life is ghetto. I'm not doing that.
Very much so. And it's crazy because I wanted to work for this company so bad, and I interviewed with them, and I didn't get the job.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I guess I'll just focus on my own business.
Right.
And then a year later, they're calling me back to hire me for the job, and I'm like, I got my own business.
Yeah.
Like you know.
Bam. There's that. There's
flagged,
that.
right?
There's and it's. I think there will be times in your life, right? I remember when I was still very much a jobber, and I wanted to do I was like, okay, if I am gonna work, I want to do like something creative and cool and fun, right? And I was like, ooh, I want to work at like a record label. Like I want to work at Def Jam. Do you remember Hunk? So Hunk got me an internship at Def Jam, and I was like, this is just the coolest thing in the world, right? I would go in there, and the girl that I was like assigned to work with, she'd be like, okay, I need you to go through all these magazines and cut out all the pictures of like our artists. And I'm like, that's it? You want to use me to cut out pictures in a magazine? I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't want to do that, right? But I'm like, I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to like stick it out or whatever. Mind you, this is no pay, and I have a kid. This is no pay. It's an internship, so it's no pay. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to hold it down. Few months last, I'm like, I'm not holding it down. I'm out of here. Like, this is whack. I can't do this, right? And then you fast forward into where life will take you, and now I'm like actually friends with like VPs of like Atlantic Records and get to go on tour with artists, and like I would have never saw that for my life had I just been fine with the mundane of that life, right? So that's why it's just so beautiful to see you say like, I wanted this job so bad, and now they couldn't get me to come work for them no matter what they paid me, right? Like that's major. And when you think about that, like even that alone is like, I don't want to take your show into something like spiritual, but I just like, alhamdulillah, like I cannot even think and like fathom how amazing that is, right? Because at a time when you were entering in college, and it brings tears to my eyes almost, when you were entering college to think like, this is my dream job. And your dream job can't even get next to you now.
Right.
Wow.
For sure.
Here for all of this excellence. I love it.
That is just, that's chilling.
For sure.
That's chilling.
For sure.
Yeah.
So like, what's like the creative process like behind y'all brands? Cause I think, because I seen Ash when you put out those hats. Me and Deasia was bugging, right? You put the hats out, then 2 seconds the shit was gone. Like I wasn't even able to screen. By the time I screenshot and sent it to D, like D, I think this is the one I want.
It was done.
You get what I'm saying?
7 minutes, I think, to be exact.
Like, it was crazy.
5 minutes actually.
5 minutes.
So being able to be at that process, and I
Yeah.
know like for my sister, like I said, she creates things from scratch. The leather is good. The fur on the bags is good.
Yeah.
Like you get what I'm saying? And then sometimes you'll come across people that be like, damn, that's a lot. You know? But then you'll go purchase something somewhere else. Like, what's the process? Like,
They
how do
will
you
walk into
how do
them
you deal
European
with
brands
that?
and
And
have, don't even blink. Don't even blink to
they
not even a wallet,
question.
a car holder.
No, for sure. That's a fact.
You could have had a whole bag,
And
man.
question your prices.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we could go through a whole episode for that alone. Like I go on rants all the time on social media about it, because that's the thing, they will never go into Balenciaga and even
question
blink
anything.
about their
That's a
prices.
fact.
But Balenciaga had a pair of paper clips as earrings, and they were like $1,200. And I saw people with them on, right? So I think my thing to and I am my own worst critic, right? I beat myself up about prices all the time. I'd be like, well, I think something should be around like $50, and my husband would be like, girl, that's $175. Like, you're bugging. And I'm like, babe, no. Like, so I'm just as hard, but to D, I'm like, oh, that's a $300 hat. And she's like, Ashley, I'm like, oh no. So I see it, like I see the value, but I always second guess me, right? And so I think we all have gone through that. But I think when it comes to being creative, I think we have to trust that. Trust your vision, right? Like, trust where it came from. Trust the quality of your work and understand it. Like she said, your items are made by hand. Don't you ever dumb your prices down. Right. If somebody feels like that's too expensive, they're just not your customer.
Exactly.
But there are millions of people out there who are your customer. Your only job right now is just finding them. Exactly. Right? And that's the same place that I'm in. I second guess myself all the time. I have these sweatsuits, right? Deasia loves, I love my sweatsuits. She loves the sweatsuit. She wears them all the time. She's gotten her cost per wear of this sweatsuit. The sweatsuit is $200, right? But I've literally gotten DMs from people that say to me things like, well, are you sure? Like $200, that's kind of like, and I'm like, girl, you're gonna live in this sweatsuit. $200 is a low ball. Like, if we're really talking, right? That's a low ball. But I think that when it comes to like the space that I create from, I always create from a space of insecurity. Right, because I grew up extremely insecure. I grew up like very timid and very shy, and not really wanting to look people in their eye, and always just kind of like trying to shy away from that. But I think what ended up happening is I've started to feel like there was nobody else in the world that felt as insecure as I felt, or felt the way that I felt. And then I would start having conversations with people, and they would be like, I thought I was the only one, and I'm like, wait, there's more of us. Yeah. There's like a tribe of us. So I'm like, boom, I know exactly what I can do. I'm like, I'm going to change the world with clothing. I'm going to change the world with the way that I speak. In the same way, like how I said to you, I can't change the world if I don't even want to look the world in its face. That's a fact. Right? Like, I got to be able to look at you, to touch, to connect with you here. And so I always create from a space of insecurity, but for the bigger purpose of, just self-love, because I know that every single decision that we make, it is, it's rooted in how we feel about ourselves. And so my motto and my slogan to everybody is, I just want to change the world one self-esteem at a time. And I really feel like we can make the world a better place if we come from that standpoint.
It's like how you go after Ash, right? It's just like,
I know, right? What does she do? She does everything.
What's your process, Sue? Like, how you feel? Like, do you feel, discouraged when someone is telling you, like, nah, your bag costs too much? Do it make you feel like, all right, maybe I got to dumb it down? Like, what?
Yeah, definitely. I struggled with that in the beginning because I'm trying to create a luxury handbag line. That's right. And I feel like that's hard to create when you don't have a big house behind you, because they're like, who are you? This is not like a luxury house. So I feel like my price point was reasonable for the products I sell. Like, my bags are about $500, but it's like, I'm using leather, I'm using fox fur, I'm using good stuff. If Louis Vuitton was selling this, it would be $3,200.
Actually, you're lowballing it.
It's
$7,000.
Exactly.
It's $7,000. You're lowballing them, actually.
So that's what I'm doing to myself.
And they want you to put some respect on their name. So you better put some respect on yours.
Right.
You better put some respect on yours.
You're right, definitely. So I think I struggled with that a lot in the beginning. And even today, I still struggle with it. Like, am I charging too much? And then because I make a lot of my stuff myself, sometimes I'm so critical of my work. I feel like, is it good enough? Like, it's a little thread here. I don't know if somebody want to pay $700. It's a little thread. Yeah. But that goes back to just finding your customer. It's people who respect that. That is handmade. That's right. That is of good materials. It might be a little thread, might be a little something, but
the imperfections is what makes it unique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it was made with hand, and that's just the beauty of it. Right. So I'm still learning that, but it's something I think I'll get better with soon.
Yeah, you will. As time progresses, you'll get better with it.
Yeah. And then for me, I just feel like I definitely haven't reached my full potential, and I'm going to be very honest. So where I started is not where I see my brand. So I started my brand just, getting some hats and making just basically what I wanted it to look like. So if that's like adding chains and customize, so like adding chains and cutting, and I'm doing all that stuff by hand, right? But I knew that I'm gonna have to start here to get where I want to go, because I don't have any handouts, right? I don't have someone just saying, oh, here's the money to start this and do this. I literally had to work and build this brand, right, to get
nothing.
to get
It's
the
nothing.
money. Yeah, literally from nothing, right? To like get the finances, right? To build up my customers. And now I came across a hat class and I was able to take, because I've went to people, I had some people who referred me to other people who just weren't really helpful, or they didn't really help me because they saw me as competition. So it was like, I don't want to help, right? So then I went to a class and the guy helped me, showed me everything, gave me all the tools. This is what you have to do. And I've been investing in that part of my business so that I'm like making them by hand. But I had to literally work from nothing to figure it all out. So for me, I'm going to say I just haven't reached my full potential. And I'm actually excited to see where the brand is going to go. I know it's going to go far. Like, I believe that in my heart. I feel it. I know that great things are coming. And I've already, like, I have so many loyal customers and just so many people behind me. And I just feel like it's gonna be huge. So as far as pricing, my prices are very fair, you know, right now for what I'm selling. But, you know,
They won't be for long.
you
better get them now. You better get them now.
because it's definitely going up, and it's happening.
What Joe
fast.
said, yesterday's price
It's not
will not be tomorrow's price.
Seriously, it's coming. So I'm excited. I'm excited for where the brand's going.
Nah, that's good. I'm definitely excited for everything that all of you guys got going on. How do y'all feel about like the Instagram and videos and the reels and the, you know, the pictures and everything just behind Instagram? Is this something that it makes you feel like, okay, my brand is, you know, getting out there more, or opposed to like, you know, sometimes people could be very harsh on Instagram. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like somebody that sees something and be like, I'll see the comments and then just be like, this shit is whack. But bro, like, why you have to write that?
Yeah, like, why?
You get what I'm saying? If I don't like something, I don't even double tap. I just keep it moving. You get what I'm saying? So is this something that you'll see and it'll make you be like, damn, I should change this? Or you just y'all just always stand on, because you're like great at reels. Yeah. Your reels are sick. Remember, I was telling you, D,
trying to figure
like,
it out.
Her reels would like just really make you be like, nah, let me tap in. Yeah. The reels are sick.
Her reels
like
are great.
she'll start it from, I mean, like
when
she
it's
has,
nothing.
yeah, when it's
Flat,
nothing,
it's just,
it's
yeah.
nothing. Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you're a little different. So probably your reels, but even still, somebody will still critique that and see it and just be like, you could have did this. You could have, you know what I mean? So how do y'all feel like with Instagram? Do you think like it helped the brand, or?
It's definitely helpful. Absolutely. It's so helpful, like getting your brand out there, your name, whatever it is you're trying to do, it's definitely helpful. The Reels has definitely added. So first of all, you have to think about it. Like, people are gonna see this, right? That you never even imagined. Like, you're touching way more people when you do Reels, because as they're going through, it's just coming up, right? So I think Instagram is super helpful when you're building a brand, just getting out, like finding your audience, like we said before, right? Finding your audience, finding those people, because it's not always the people around us who are going to be the most supportive.
That's right.
Right? So I definitely think in touching other like lives and meeting new people and things like that, absolutely, is super helpful. Now, as far as the negative, I don't let negative get to me. So it's going to happen. It's going to come. That's just the world we live in. Like, that's life. But you have to build that tough skin to kind of just get through it, you know? So, that's
yeah,
awesome.
I would agree. I think that Instagram can be a beautiful place if you allow it to be. You know, like she said, it has helped all of our brands get in front of, you know, thousands and thousands of people that we would have never been able to touch or have access to otherwise. And so, I mean, it would be the same thing if you had a storefront and people were able to come in your store and like, are you like, why is this, you know, it's the same thing. So I think that we just have to learn to navigate it better. I mean, I wish people, you know, had the smarts, and a lot of times I'm like, who raised y'all? Like, because my whole thing is, if I don't like it, I'm just going to keep going. There's nothing in me that wants to say that's ugly. Why? What am I released? Like, what am I getting besides my inner childhood bully? Like, what am I getting out of me doing that? Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I wish that the world was a better place and people just, you know, took to the rule of, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. However, a lot of people weren't raised like how we were. And so we learned that on Instagram, because again, that's the other side of, you know, meeting people from so many different walks of life. And what I've come to learn is that people that get on Instagram and kind of spew negativity all day, something really is going on within them.
For sure.
And so
For
really
sure.
what we really should be doing is just praying for them and hoping that they find peace and some business of their own.
Right.
So that somebody can get on there, call their stuff ugly, and then see what it does for them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Understand how it makes them feel, and then maybe they'll think twice before they do it to somebody else again. So, I mean, I'm very grateful to Instagram. Instagram has helped me make a lot of money. So I'm very gracious for Instagram. And when Instagram goes away, I hope there's something else that we will be able to jump on and kind of, you know, help put our work out there.
For me, Instagram has been like a place of positivity. Like I wouldn't have started my business as soon as I did if it wasn't for Instagram.
Yep.
Because when I just was making bags, like I would just make bags and film them. I wasn't selling them. I was just making my bags for me.
For you.
And then the reel started doing so well that I was like, oh, other people want to buy my bags. People keep emailing me to buy bags. And I was like, oh, maybe I should start my business a little sooner. Because before I was that girl that was like, if I don't have all the money behind me, I'm not starting. I want to come out right. I'm not doing baby steps. I want to just come out strong out the gate. And then I got so much encouragement from people I didn't even know, which I was like, well, maybe I should start it. So I didn't start my business the way I wanted to, even though I'm extremely proud of it. But the people off Instagram gave me a lot of encouragement to just start. And I'm happy that I just took that first step. Yeah, so that's, Instagram has been a great place for me.
I asked because, like, for me, I've always been a private person, right? So I'll get on Instagram and have my page on private. And it'll be like one of my friends or something be like, I don't get how you doing that. Like, how you doing videos and your page is private? Who's gonna see that?
Who's
you get what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know, I'm just like overprotective of me. Like, you know what I mean? Like my presence and things like that. I was just always one person that just feel like, you know, I don't want to be around everyone. You know, I don't want everybody accessible to me. I don't want everybody to see my pictures. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like that. But you know,
I call ToTo safe.
Yeah.
I always say you're very safe.
Yeah.
She does everything safe.
Everybody always say that. Like I'm just a safe person. But you know, like this go round, I'm like, yo, I gotta leave it not locked. Like you get what I'm saying? I gotta let everybody see it. And it's just little stuff. Like I'm still not okay with random people following me, random people in my DM. You get what I'm saying? It's like I'm always like, is this like something tricky going on?
Yes,
I'm just like, you get what I'm saying? Like, what's happening? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I think another thing too, I think like with Instagram, a lot of people are like tricky when it comes to me. It's like, I like that, but I don't want her to know. I'm gonna keep it moving. You get what I'm saying? I'll have more support from people that never actually like really got to know me. You get what I'm saying? Opposed to people that know me, and it's so weird. It's like, if you like it, you like it. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't hide it. You like it.
Right.
I don't know. So I don't know if Instagram really ever worked for me. Like even when I made the CreatorsClub thing, I didn't really want to put that I was like the head in charge of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, well, damn, I got, like, you know, like, because sometimes it works. Like, no, like, I love ToTo. Like, you know, we do it for the love of ToTo. You get what I'm saying? But then you have some people that's actually like a fan. Like, you know what I mean? And but they don't want me to know.
Right.
So it's like, nah, I don't want to follow it. You get what I'm saying? But they'll watch.
Right.
But
So
even
it's like,
for you, like, I feel like there's a whole nother, like, I know that. There's a whole nother level that is waiting for you. Like, you have the potential. You have everything that you need to hit that next level. But I think for you, and I love you, and I also wanted to give you your flowers on this show because we've been friends since children. Our mothers are friends, right? And I've always known you to do amazing things, and you're great. I want you, my thing for you is stop playing with your potential. Like, you are a big deal, bro. And I really want you to feel that. I want you to believe that. I want you to stand on that. Like, everything that you have going on here today is amazing. Like I said, putting us on this platform. This is the first show I've ever done. I was nervous to even sit here, to sit next to you, and you're my friend. Like, to sit amongst all these amazing people, you know? And it's like, you finally took a step out and believed in yourself, and bro, you are amazing. Stop playing with your potential. Like, you're gonna go far, but stop playing it safe.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I want for you. I want you to just kind of cut that safety net a little bit, and bro, my presence is a present. Feel that.
Because safe people aren't game changers.
Right.
You can't change the game by just being safe. And I think I understand, and I get it. I get why that is like a safety net for you, because of where we come from.
Right.
Right? I get it completely because we're from the same walk of life, right?
Right.
So I understand it. But I also know that you have to step out on a little bit of faith and just a little bit do something different. Because what do they say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and think you're going to get different results. You can't grow this amazing brand if only you and your core friends know about it.
Right.
And so I will not lie, when you wrote me, I was like, oh, she talks. Wow, it's to somebody besides Deasia and Noel. Wow, this is nice. Hey, girl. Right? And so then that's when I hit Deasia, and I was like, anything that you're a part of, if I'm cool, of course. Like, you don't have to ask me twice. And so I was so glad that we were able to make this happen, but I'm like that's what you need.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that's what you need to do, because because you got to go to these events. You
sure.
have to go. You got to talk to people. If you don't talk, people don't know what you're doing.
Facts.
There's just like a reel that's like circulating on in there. The voice behind it is like, you got to post about your product so people know it exists. You got and you have to do that. You have to talk about what you're doing. You have to network. You have to speak to people. This is not going to end up on Amazon or Netflix or wherever this is destined to be if you're not talking about it to people.
Right.
Because all you have to do is you're going to say the right thing to the right person, and it's going to end up in exactly whose hands it's supposed to end up in.
Nah, that's a fact.
But in your car talking and with a private page, they ain't never going to see it.
Nah, that's a fact. I'm not going to lie. I'll be so nervous.
Yeah.
I'm like so nervous, and I don't know, like I be kind of scared. Like me and my girl will go out, and she'll be like, she'll talk to somebody. I don't like to talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk to people. And she'll be like, yo, you gotta stop that.
Yeah,
and
she's
then
right.
The person will be talking about what they do and stuff like that. She'll be like, well, she a videographer. Hey,
Yeah.
what kind of camera you got? Because she don't know.
She
Maybe
don't-
the camera
right,
film me.
right,
So I say the camera, and they be like, oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta,
love
you know what I
that.
mean? So
I love
it'd be
that.
little stuff like that. Like,
Keep her with you.
Yeah,
So
for
she
sure.
can keep doing that until you feel comfortable
Yeah.
enough to start doing it for sure.
this is like the first time I really like spoke a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm in people DMs like, hey, I love your work. Like even the guy that I have, and he was like, how did you find me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I seen your work, and I liked it, but I don't write people, like. And it's like I know what to say because I know what I would want somebody to say to me
To
if they
you.
like my shit. You know
Right,
what I mean? So
right.
I know what to say. I just be scared. And
Yeah.
even since a kid, my mom would be like, when you gonna speak up? I'm tired of this quiet shit.
Yeah.
Like speak up. And I just, when I'm ready to talk, I'm gonna talk. But I just try to force myself more and more now, like for sure, because I know, like,
Yeah,
I'm
when
not
you're
gonna be
building
able
a
to-
brand, you have to.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
absolutely
happening,
have
and
to.
we're super proud of you too.
Yeah.
And that you also, I know this is you asking the questions, but we know you also have POV, right? Are you
Yep.
still going to be doing that also?
Yeah.
Because ToTo, if y'all don't know, if y'all really know, you want to explain more of like
Yeah.
what POV is. It's a very big deal.
For sure.
Um,
So POV is a kids program that I started, and I teach the kids film.
Nice.
So like the basics of like setting up a camera, like how to turn the camera on, put the battery in, record, and things like that. And it actually stands for proving ourselves visually. Just for like people, like kids like me, like I don't really talk to many people, but I feel like my presence is felt in a way. Like when somebody see me, it's like, damn, remember the quiet girl? Like like they remember, and I ain't even say nothing. You know what I mean? So I had that program before COVID, and then when COVID came, you know what I mean, kind of set things back. But my goal was to like get it in the schools because I didn't have the resources for film when I was a kid. I didn't have that until I went to college. So I was just trying to get it like in the elementary schools, and I was working in Harlem Children's. I was a film specialist in there, so I actually like implemented that in there.
Wow, that's what's up.
And then once COVID came, it
Right.
just knocked it down. But I'm trying to do it, if not for the summer, for the next school year,
Next
like
school
start
year.
the curriculum up and build a team so we could just get the kids going
That's
for
what's
sure.
up.
And it was like 3rd graders, 4th graders, and they was with it. They
That's
learned
what's
very
up.
fast, editing, everything. They
That's
was going
what's
with
up.
it.
It's so necessary. Like it is
I agree.
super necessary. So
I agree.
I just said that to say you have great things going.
Nah, for sure.
Keep it going. Everyone, I'm proud of all of you. I'm happy. Great things are happening, man.
If it's one thing that y'all would change about, the field that y'all in for someone else, you know what I'm saying? Like, for an opportunity for someone else, like what would you guys change?
Ooh. All right, you guys could go first. If
I
you
got
want.
mine. I got mine ready.
about this.
I got mine ready. Yes, I know what I struggle with. Mine would be access to finding reliable manufacturers, just retailers or just people who can provide resources for you as far as like leathers or furs or just finding people like that, or even people to help with packaging. I spent so much money on stuff that I really didn't need or stuff that didn't look the way it looked online, and I spent so many hours trying to find stuff that was right for my brand. And I know that there's still better stuff out there, and I'm even still struggling to find stuff like that. And I know that's part of it. That's part of the work. If you got to put in the work. But for me, it would just be like, can somebody just put them on a list, like who's the good people and who's the bad people? Because at the beginning, you spend a lot of money wasting time and money with the bad people. But I know that's everybody's story in this industry.
Yeah, I would actually, as much as I have that same strife that you had with finding manufacturers and going through that whole thing, I probably wouldn't change anything. Because I think going through all of that, the same type of things is what helps me to feel confident in where my brand stands and where it'll go. Because I think if things are, I don't want to say handed to us too easy, but for lack of a better word, handed to us too easy, we don't appreciate it, right? Like you can't appreciate a good, man or woman if everybody's nice. Well, then you're going to treat everybody fine or treat everybody regular because everybody's nice, right? But it took dealing with somebody who was a literal piece of shit to, exalt my husband and put him on a pedestal because he deserves to be on one because he is phenomenal. You know what I mean? So I think that going through those struggles and going through all of those things is what helps our brands become better, is what helps us become better people. So I probably wouldn't change. I probably wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hard to follow up, guys. I'm definitely going to say, and that's for like, the question goes for like people looking to like come up and start. Just to know that anything is possible. I think for me, it would just be like, I wouldn't really change, like you all said, I wouldn't really change the process because it's a learning process, right? But my biggest thing would be just motivating those and letting them know like, there's so much out there. Like anything that you want to do, you can do it. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter where you are. It only matters. And growing up, I really didn't understand this when people would say like, your mind is the best thing. It's the most valuable thing that you have. And things like that. You always think it's super cliche until you grow up and you literally notice. The only reason I am still in this situation, the only reason I am where I am or whatever, it's not because of finances. It's not because of any of these things. It's because of how I think of myself. Right? It is literally my mental. So just believing in yourself and just knowing that anything is possible. You can do anything. Like it all starts here. That's my biggest thing.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm so happy to have y'all. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for having us.
For real.
Thank
Like
you
it means so
Yes.
much. Like even like just to see my little sister. Like like we pretty much like grew up, and she was so small and was a sicko. You know what I mean? And now it's like she's just so beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to have you a part
so
of this
nice.
platform, like it means so much to me. Ash, thank you so much. I'm so happy that I never spoke to you and never seen you.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
never. She,
You know what I mean?
y'all, she never spoke to me ever. I'm so happy you got her. I would see her, and Deja would be like, "Hey, Ashley, come give me a hug," and she'd just be in the car like, like never. I'm like, what is this girl's deal? I'm like, okay, she just quiet. Like, okay, and I'm talking like years. I don't mean like 1, 2. I'm talking like 15, 20 years. Seeing this, like, I would be like, wow, like she is committed to being quiet. Like she is committed. Like when she says she's not gonna talk, she means she's not gonna talk. So thank you for talking to me.
Nah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Seriously, you're a big deal, bro. Like,
Thank you so
seriously,
much.
bro.
Thank you.
For real. You definitely, just watching your stuff, you know what I mean? Just seeing you is motivating.
Thank you.
Even seeing you, first of all, we forgot to mention she was at the Grammys. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? Definitely, like, so.
She really does everything.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, seriously.
Thank
Like,
She really does everything.
Thank you so much for
No,
D. You already know,
You
bro.
are.
No,
and
I don't. Tell me.
No, okay. Oh, you want your own speech? Got it.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
D,
No,
thank
that's
you
next.
so much, bro. You know I love you, bro. Like for real. Like you like my brother / sister sometimes. Like you get what I'm saying? Like you know I call you for everything, bro. And you just always like the the first episode, she was my assistant. The girl only just wanted a walkie-talkie. It was just a lot. It was a lot,
And
but
this week
she
wants
showed
a
up.
jacket, so please
Yeah,
get her a jacket.
yeah, it's a lot. But thank you so much, bro. I love you. And thank you even for linking me with Ash. Like, I'm like, bro, you got to call Ash for me, bro. He's like, all right. And just thank you. So, you know what I mean?
Anything for you. You know, we locked in for life, man.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Woo! This was so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
Yeah, this was great. I really enjoyed this. I feel like motivated and empowered. Y'all feel that?
Yeah.
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 All right, let's do this.
We good.
Let's take over the world. Cheers to Creators Club. I love it here. I love it. Cheers.
Well, I can't cheers y'all.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Ramadan,
It's
but
cool.
we here. But cheers.